I'm here with very special guest, lead singer from Memphis Mayfire, Matty. How are you going?
Hey, going good, man. Thanks for having me.
Nah, it's my pleasure. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while now. I've been a fan of yours for years, so thank you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right. So the first thing I want to ask is, I know that your last album, if I'm correct, came out in 2018, and then this one's coming out in 2022. What's it like making an album pre-COVID to post-COVID?
It was definitely different, man. Yeah, I mean, we obviously the pandemic was like terrible for so many people. I think that there wasn't anybody that didn't experience some sort of loss or tragedy during that time. Um, but for us, we also needed that time. We didn't realize it, but we really needed that time to make a record um, that we could be so proud of. Something that it felt like making an album when there's no outside voices and when there wasn't anybody that needed anything from us other than the songs. The songs became the only thing that mattered, and I realized that we've needed that for a long time. And so it was, a blessing and a curse at the same time.
So, what was the process going into this album? What did you want to express differently than you have on other albums?
I think that in the past I've been really focused on offering hope in every song. I've wanted a hopeful message in every song, and with this record, I realized you don't have to offer a hopeful message in a song for the song to feel hopeful. Like a lot of people that are struggling with something, they just need a song that's about what they're struggling with so that they know that they're not alone and they can start the healing process there. And so for us, making this record that's so raw and so honest, start to finish, without any real happy moments until the end of the album, um, is an honest depiction of what our lives look like too. Like we're all going through things that are really hard and we all struggle. And I think that having songs about that is so important. And I think that's a lesson learned for me. I felt like a pressure or a guilt to offer some sort of hopeful message. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing to do that, but I think that in the middle of the pandemic, when everyone was just like, listen, I just need someone that understands what I'm going through. I just need somebody that understands that I'm hurting. Songs about that, not only are what people needed, it's what we needed to write.
Yeah. Do you think this album would have came out differently had COVID not happened?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, like, we our band was so stuck in just the repetition of like go on tour, go on tour, go on tour, take a couple months off and make a record, go on tour, go on tour, go on tour. That it's like I don't think that we would have ever stopped to really look intrinsically and say, is this really who we are as a band, and who are we as a band, and why are we doing this, and what do we want to do? Those kind of things. I think a lot of people ask that question to themselves, just about life in general. Like, am I happy in my job now that I've had a couple of months away from my job? Am I happy here? Am I happy in this relationship now that we're together every day? Is this actually somebody that I want to be with? And it's the same for a band. It's like I've been doing the same thing for a long time, and I really want to know, like, if I'm not making records that I want to make, am I happy? And what is the record that I want to make? And it just takes time to figure things out. And that's what we did during the pandemic. Like we figured things out in a new way that we're so excited about.
Yeah, that's a cool answer. And you know what's interesting? I've always said to anyone who's new to your music or anyone who's not familiar with you, to me, you are the way you sing, the way you make anthems and all your songs. You remind me really closely of like a Freddie Mercury type guy because
Oh, wow.
every song is an anthem, just like how he did on Queen. Every song is an anthem, and on this album, I felt that more than ever. I felt inspiration behind your lyrics and the way you were singing them. You have such a powerful, inspiring voice. It's just amazing.
Bro, that is an unbelievable compliment. Thank you so much. I don't know if I could ever compare myself to Freddie. It's crazy, but I'm just glad that people feel passion in our music. I want people to put the record on and feel the way that we felt when we made it. And the only way to do that is just to be honest. And I want to write anthemic songs, and sometimes I succeed and sometimes I fail. But I feel like this record is full of those, and we're really proud of it for sure.
Yeah, because it's like because a few years ago, we're talking maybe 9 years ago now. I saw you in Melbourne. You came with Sleeping with Sirens and Woe Is Me, I think was the other band. And you were first up. No, sorry, second up. And it was the first time I ever heard of you. And you left more of an impression on me that night than the band I went to see, Stephen Sirens. The way you sang like your anthem type music was really inspirational.
Man, thank you. That's so cool. I remember those shows, man. They were awesome. We definitely don't get to Australia enough, and we hope to get back very soon.
Yeah, it was definitely an amazing night. And talking back about the album, how early into the album's conception did you think of having AJ on the song as a feature?
The second that I heard that instrumental, we thought about AJ. I mean, he has his own flavor that to the way that instrumental was written was so complimentary. It's like so perfect for that song. And as soon as I heard it, we've done a bunch of touring with them and we've known them for a long time and they're awesome guys. So as soon as we heard that, I was like, oh man, AJ on these verses. And it's not very common to put a guest vocalist on verse 1 and verse 2, right? But I wanted him to really shine in that song because I knew that his voice and his flavor was going to be something that made that song way more special than had we not had him on it,
Yeah, no, it's definitely a standout song for sure. And yeah, it's a bit it made me think because throughout the whole record, there's not really any other feature besides AJ. So I was curious as to the placement of him and the song you put him on. But now it all makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He killed it.
He definitely did. So did you have any song in particular on this album that may have been challenging to write or challenging to make for this album?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, there's a handful of them. Like when we started writing Make Believe, I didn't think that it was actually going to be on the record. And it wasn't until the song was done that I was like, oh my gosh, I think this might be my favorite song on the record, And it just happens like that a lot of times. Sometimes a really great song can come really quick, and sometimes it takes multiple revisions to really see where a song is supposed to go. And so for us, working on that song kind of just tirelessly is what brought it to the point where it felt really special. And so that was a tough one. There's a handful of those. The Fight Within, the song that we finished the record with, I didn't know exactly what route I wanted to take for that song. And the way it ended up, we were so happy with, but it took a while. And, like Misery, kind of that like rappy, yelly feel, like that vocal tone in the verses of that song is something that's new to me, something that I haven't done on previous records. And it was more experimental than anything. And so I just wanted to try new flavors of me and see what I'm capable of doing. And so you go through that over and over again until you're like, okay, yeah, we got it. So yeah, there's a handful of those.
Yeah. And so on the opposite end of that, did you have a favorite song to make or favorite song to write on the album?
So the first song that I finished was Somebody. And I think that was my favorite song. Like it's kind of like, I love how much the message of the song and the feel of the song clashes, like it feels kind of like happy and up tempo almost, like to the point where you not up tempo, but happy and like upbeat. And it's the way that it feels. It's almost like it's not going to be about something so serious, but it is. And it's like you find yourself dancing to the song, but it's about addiction. And it's like that kind of mashup felt really special to me. And being that it was the first one, we just got really excited about it and everything. And so, yeah, I would say that was probably the most fun one to make.
Yeah, whenever I listen to that song, it kind of reminded me of the song Roger Rabbit by Stephen Sirens. Kind of the same
cool.
kind of yeah. No, it's a great album for sure. And like I said, I feel like you've elevated everything from your previous work to this one. You've elevated your vocal performances, the instrumentation, the production sounds grand, and I just think all around it's a perfect album to represent Memphis Mayfire.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really feel the same way. I think that it's an album that we've wanted and needed to make for a long time, and we just feel like we're back in a big way, and everything has been crazy. This tour that we're on in America right now is crushing, and we can't wait to come back over to Straya and see all you guys, man.
Nah, that would be sick. So I want to know what's next for Memphis Mayfire.
we've got a lot coming up. We have a lot coming up that has not been announced yet. So we're playing a big festival called Blue Ridge in America that has been announced, and then we have other things locked in that we have not announced yet that just generally like aren't announced. But yeah, there's a handful of stuff, but for now, like this is a back-to-back US tour for us. We were just out with Dance Gavin Dance, and then now we're on our headliner. So it's been, a lot of touring in America. So we're going to take a little bit of time when we get back and then get right back to it.
Nice. Love the hustle. So I want to know, from all the years you've spent in Memphis Mayfire and as a musician, what's one thing you've learned either about being in a band for so long or about the music industry?
Oh man, well, a handful of things. I would say, love everybody and respect everybody. Treat the bands that play underneath you as if they're going to headline it above you one day, because they are. That's how it works. But at the same time, understand that the industry can be kind of tough, and nobody wants you to win as much as you want to win. So, just go out and do your best and be your best. And no matter what happens, treat people with respect. It's like, I have always wanted to be the best version of myself. And the older I get, the more I understand what that actually looks like, and your moral compass just keeps like moving, and you're like, oh man, like I was so young and so dumb when I did this or said that or whatever. And it's like, you start to get older. You're just like, man, nothing in the world matters except for the relationships that you build along the way, the relationships with the bands that we're on tour with, and the relationships with the people that listen to our music. And I love to just stand outside, hang out with people and talk to people. And it's like, that's what's going to last the longest, even beyond our band. And so that for sure. And also, the relationships with the guys that you're in a band with, or girls that you're in a band with, whatever, like to understand how people tick and to be respectful of that and to learn how people operate. It's really hard to be in a band because it's hard for 4 or 5 people or 6 people to be so cohesive. And when you get to a point where you understand how everybody works, you can appreciate them and what they need a lot more. And when you do that, you can survive out on the road for a lot longer. So.
Yeah, love that answer. So happy we found time today. I've been listening to music for a while. I love your style. I love the band, and I can't thank you enough for this opportunity.
Yeah, likewise, man. Thank you for having me and for caring about the record. Hope to see you in person sometime soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, stay safe and have a good day or night.
Yeah, you as well, brother. Good to meet you.
You too. See ya.
See ya.